In the followed months, Eris trained with Jelane's sword fighting, and Eris was able to counter the strong attacks of her swordmaster. They fought each other with enormous speed and power. In the end, Jelane praised her student and told Eris that she could reach advanced rank soon. Eris was very happy, and Rudy asked him about his rank. He sucked at swordsmanship, and he was sad. After that, Rudy taught them how to make money with bitcoins and also taught them to cast strong magic spells. So they learned a lot by Rudy, and were happy. Followed we see Rudy he was finished with to create a Roxy Barbie edition. Suddenly Maid Edna wanted to ask him for a favor. So Rudy learned Eris will be 10 years old soon. The main event of that party will be a dance performed by Eris. Rudy laughed by the thoughts about Eris dancing. Then she told him she is worried because Eris can't dance. As a result, Rudy was asked for teaching Eris some dancing moves. He accepted and was ready to teach Eris dancing moves. On the next day, Rudy discovered a book, which was written in Beast God language. Philip told him Beast God language is the best language for flirting with beast men. Rudy knew their charm of the cute female beast people, and he loved their fluffy ears. So Philip was proud of Rudy, and knew they were blood related. Followed Rudy decided to learn the Beast God language, and he wrote a letter for Roxy. In the followed day, Rudy had some trouble by learning the Demo God language. Suddenly he heard the voice of Eris, and he learned Eris got problems to learn the dancing moves. Maid Edna was worried, and she wanted Rudy to convince her for going to her dancing lessons. So Rudy found Eris and asked about her problems, but she kicked him in the face. Followed, he tried to convince her for going back, but she didn't want to learn dancing. Rudy understood her feelings, because he was in his old life a loser. Suddenly she admitted to admires him, because he could do everything with ease. He replied he wasn't able to do everything perfect, so he tried to study to master everything. Followed, he was able to cheer Eris up, and she went back to her dance lessons. Suddenly she wanted Rudy to accompany her by her dancing lessons. Following this, they both danced, but Eris danced like a gorilla, so Rudy was injured by dancing with Eris. Later he studied Beast God language and Jelane helped him with his studying. So Rudy was able to learn a lot, and Eris also went to the dancing lessons. Also Rudy sold his created Barbie on a merchant, and he got a gold coin. In the followed days he danced with Eris and she was able to learn the noble dance moves. In the evening Rudy was exhausted for studying every day. Suddenly his Amazon package was delivered because he was a Prime member. Followed he got a letter from Roxy, and she thanked him for writing her every day. Then we see Roxy's student grabbing her breasts, but she burned him down with a strong fire spell. Then she wanted to help Rudy learning the demon god language, so she gave him some advice for studying. Following this, her student showed Roxy a Barbie, which looks like her. Roxy was shocked because her student did naughty things with the Barbie. Then we see Rudy again, and he was surprised about his created Roxy Barbie edition, which was bought by the Prince of Shirens. Following this, he discovered her advices and was motivated to study more. On the next day, he was dancing with Eris again, but she had trouble like always. Maid Edna lied to her and said she is ready for tomorrow dancing. Rudy was worried because she would get a new dance partner on the next day. Then, we see the event of Eris and the nobles were served expensive dishes. Rudy enjoyed the tasty food and he saw Eris in a beautiful dress. Sauros welcomed the nobles and introduced them to his niece Eris. So every one of the nobles congratulated her for becoming 10 years old. Rudy knew she was nervous and Edna greeted him and were worried too. Suddenly Sauros led the main event and he said, if someone wants his favor, he should take his granddaughter's hand. So they both started to dance together, but the boy wasn't a good match for Eris. As a result, she increased the speed while dancing and tripped. She was ashamed and saw her grandfather was furious. Followed, she wanted to continue her dance, but everyone looked down on Eris. Edna and Rudy were worried, because she ruined her family's reputation. Then Rudy asked her for a dance, because he didn't want to let her down. The nobles were angry and whispered behind their back. Followed, Rudy started the dance with Eris, but she was nervous and tripped again. Rudy learned she was nervous for screwing up the dance, so Rudy didn't give up and found a solution for the problem. He got the idea to use his plus ultra dancing skills, and they were able to perform a beautiful dance. As a result, Rudy was rising the whole noble main event and made Eris blush. Everyone were impressed of their performance, and Sauros was also proud of them both. After that, Edna asked Rudy about his secret. So he explained Eris got plus ultra by training with Jelane. Because of this reason he could manage to dance with Eris. Suddenly 3 girls tried to seduce the Isekai Riz master. Then Philip gave him the advice to use protection for having fun with the girls. In the evening, he wanted to gift his students some wands. Followed Jelaine was very grateful for the magic wand of Rudy. After that, Eris also got a wand, and she thanked Rudy for his gift. Suddenly, Eris looked at Jelaine. Eris was very happy about the ring and she kept it as a treasure. The next day, Rudy woke up and he discovered Eris in his bed. So he got the idea to tease her a bit, but he immediately changed his mind. Followed, he was outside and he saw something suspicious. Then he heard some voices of a moaning woman. Sauros sensed Rudy and he had a lot of fun with a female maid. Sauros wanted to show him something in the sky. He didn't know what the floating thing was and he started praying. Following this, 2 years passed. Rudy managed to learn new languages and had a lot of fun. Then he watched Eris by her sword training and she reached the advanced rank in sword god style. Suddenly he discovered the floating thing in the sky was changing his size. However, Rudy wanted to go outside and he saw Eris with a maid. He was curious why they were talking behind his back. Suddenly he learned Eris wanted to prepare a party for Rudy's 10th birthday. Then Rudy was deep in thought. He knew he wasn't born in the main family. As a result, Rudy didn't get a big event like Eris, so she got the idea to celebrate a private party. Suddenly we saw the mom of Eris, and she looked like having a bad mood every time she saw Rudy. Then the maids prepared the birthday party for Rudy. Jelaine tried to distract him because the maids asked for more time. Rudy wanted to have a snack, but his birthday party wasn't prepared. He immediately understood that they were preparing his birthday party. Followed, he showed a Barbie, which looked like his swordmaster. He purposely forgot to create her tail and wanted to see Jelaine's booty. Then she pulled her pants down, and Rudy shocked by seeing her thong. She was ready for the Arnold's Physique bodybuilder competition, and Rudy wanted to touch her booty. He was shocked and amazed by her booty out of steel. Suddenly, a maid appeared and saw Rudy playing with the butt cheeks of Jelaine. After that, they celebrated Rudy for becoming 10 years old, and he was surprised. Eris presented him with flowers, and he started to cry. He said first thought he might not welcomed in their home, but everyone were nice to him. Sauros loved Rudy and wanted to punish the head of the main family for making Rudy sad. Rudy's behavior was staged, and Eris tried to cheer him up with a big surprise. He thought he will be reunited with his family, but they couldn't make it. The reason was that monsters blocked their way to the city. Everyone were sad, and he ruined the mood of his birthday party. So Eris' mother tried to cheer him up, and he learned that she also loves him. Suddenly she asked Rudy to become Eris' future husband. She was also a troublemaker and they tried to stop her nonsense too. Following this, Eris got the gift for Rudy. He learned Eris bought him an off-white wand, which was used by the strongest mages. He was surprised and grateful for the gift of Eris. After that, they celebrated the birthday party of Rudy together. He enjoyed his birthday party, and everyone of Eris' family had praised him. In the night, Philip told Rudy that Eris had 2 brothers. So he learned all sons with the Boreas blood were raised in the head of the family's household. As a result, he learned why Hilda hated him first, because he was allowed to stay in their mansion, but her own sons were taken away. Followed, Philip asked Rudy if he wanted to marry Eris. Rudy thought it was a joke, but Philip wasn't joking. Suddenly he offered Rudy to pop the cherries of his daughter and became the next head of the main family. Rudy didn't want to involved in the family problems and they rejected the offer of Philip. Then Rudy was on his way to his bedroom and he immediately regretted to reject the offer. The reason was, he could have made his own harem with personal maids. Arrived in his bedroom, he was shocked to see Eris, who was waiting for Rudy. Eris replied, she thought he is lonely and she wanted to sleep with him tonight. Rudy got Isekai Riz and had naughty thoughts. Suddenly he started to shot his load and started to kiss Eris. But he just imagined everything and realized he didn't started. However, he couldn't withstand because he was just a man who wanted to get some love. Eris was nervous and she had an experience with men. Followed, Rudy started to kiss and touch her. She could sense Rudy's Riz aura and waited for having fun. Suddenly he touched her and she rejected him. Rudy was beaten up by Eris' gorilla power and he was fainted out. After that he was deep in thought and he didn't know what he did wrong. So he thought he misunderstood the signals of her. Also, he thought she just wanted to be nice to him. Then he wanted to apologize to Eris, but she wasn't angry at him. She accepted his apology and she told him she aren't ready for making babies now. And she told him he should try it if he turned 15 years old. So Rudy was happy because she wasn't angry at him. Also, he celebrated his victory because he was allowed to pop her cherry if he turned 15 years old. He was motivated, but he remembered about his promise with his childhood friend Sylphie. Meanwhile, Paul was hunting monsters, and he was angry. The reason was they blocked the way and he couldn't visit his son on his birthday party. Then we see Sylphie, and she often played with the shy girl Nora. Also, Rudy's sister Aisha was cleaning with her mother in the house. Sylphie wanted to send Rudy a necklace of his family, and she asked about Lilia's gift for Rudy. Then Aisha wanted to play with Sylphie, and she was very happy for being praised. Zenith and Lilia were happy to see Sylphie acting like a big sister for the two girls. Also, they were glad that she could stop the bullies of their town without Rudy's help. Nora wanted to know why they bullied Sylphie, and her mother told them because of the green hair, and she caused her daughter crying. Then Paul arrived home and he saw with his family the storm clouds. In the meantime, Roxy was exhausted for teaching her creepy student. Then she also looked to the sky and saw the storm clouds. After that we see mysterious guy, who was on a mountain. Suddenly he was attacked by a huge dragon with his breath of fire. The mysterious guy was unharmed and demonstrated his power. He just looking in the eyes of the dragon, and he could scared him. Suddenly he was surprised about the storm clouds. Another person also discovered the storm clouds, caused by an absurd amount of mana. She was Kishirika, and called himself the Great Emperor of the Demon World. Followed we also see the Sky Fortress, who sensed the power of the demon god Laplace. So a servant was called, and he was ordered to find the suspicious person, who caused the amount of mana. However, Rudy was outside with his friends and he wanted to test his new wand. Then he started to cast his strongest spell, but he stopped. Suddenly Jelaine used her green Rinnegan eye, and she saw an attack coming. Followed, they were attacked, and Jelaine tried to protect her students. Suddenly she was fighting against one of Lord Perugia's servant. Then they could clear the misunderstanding, and Rudy was confused. He was deep in thought, but the weird thing in the sky disappeared. Suddenly the sky exploded, and Jelaine couldn't manage to protect them both in time.